Good day, everyone. I'll be reviewing my week 3 assignments in this session. But before I go into the detailed review, we had a very exciting week. In this week 3, it was Fashion Week in my team, and we dressed using different themes from corporate to casual to classical to trendy, as well as the Friday wear. And it was really exciting. In fact, it challenged me that I must be intentional about how I look at all times. So straight to my video. The first one is to analyze my belief. This is still on the book of Goals. Chapter 7 talks about analyzing my beliefs, and the only thing standing between me and my belief is the will to try it and the faith to believe in my dreams. That's just the only thing. As long as I have dreamed, I have set goals, I must have a willingness to try it out. What you've not tried, you can't say is good or is not good. So it's always important, and we must know that anything we can believe, we can achieve it. And as you know, doubt is the opposite of belief. So if you doubt yourself even before you achieve that thing, you won't get anything. And this is the major problem where people cannot make achievements. Fear of the unknown, fear of what does not even exist. Why don't you try and fail first? And people who don't want to fail, they are people who don't have a future, because you must keep trying. I'm not talking of guessing now. I'm not talking about trying this today and trying something else tomorrow. No, you must keep trying. You desire to do something, take the first step. And this reminds me of the life of our little babies. They see everybody walking, they too they want to make attempt to walk. You see them, a lot of times they will stand, they will fall down on their bum, but does that mean they will not stand again? No, they will keep making that attempt because they are desirous. They want to walk like everybody. And you see them, once they are able to take that first step, they start running. We'll be laughing at them and be saying, do you think that's the way people walk? You take one step at a time. But they don't have understanding like that. One thing they are sure of is that, I can stand on my leg, it's time to run. In fact, if we will all have that kind of mindset concerning our lives and our goals, the sky will just be the starting point for us. Then the next chapter, which is chapter 8, talks about starting at the beginning. Starting at the beginning. And Peter Drucker calls it intellectual honesty. What does it mean to start at the beginning? What this is simply saying is that, yes, we want to achieve things, but we are leaving the most important and running after the less important. Let me just put it that way. We must be intellectually honest to ourselves. For example, let me use the example of temperament. Every business relates with people one way or the other. Even if you do virtual business, it is still human being that will patronize you, because the main essence of doing businesses is for us to make profit. And when we make the profit, what does it do to us? It helps us to improve our lives. We are able to get resources which we use as things that helps us. When the money comes in, you're able to meet your personal needs, you're able to improve on whatever you are doing. So also, if you refuse to tell yourself the truth, like the example I'm stating now, you have temperament issues, and every business is customer based. Whether you like it or not, you must handle that temperament issue, because when there's no customer, there's no business. But if you keep saying, I can't stand whatever people are doing, all this customer is king, they always say, it's not me, abeg, let the customer hold themselves, they are not going to get anywhere. So starting from the beginning will help you to see things in its real state. Yes, we've spoken about self-awareness. You know your person. Part of this issue of temperament can be a weakness, and it can be worked on if you're willing. It can be worked on if you're willing. So starting from beginning helps us to determine a lot of things about ourselves. For example, through starting from the beginning, you can structure your business through your business plan, and this will help you to know, for example, what are you worth by the hour. You don't just do business, and all these things, you have to pay attention to it. So you know what is your hourly rate. And through the starting from the beginning, as in looking at things in depth, you are not leaving any stone unturned, and you are putting everything line upon line, precept upon precept. You'll be able to make use of the zero-based thinking, which helps to analyze what you need and what you need to get rid of. A lot of many of us, we run after wants and not needs, and this is not going to take you anywhere. I want this, I want this, I want this. The question you should ask is, this thing I said I want, do I really need it? Is it of any benefit to me? You see a lot of people these days, they take their things to declutter. Why? Because they did not need that thing in the first place. If you need it, there won't be any reason for you to declutter it. So zero-based thinking will help you to go straight to the root of your life. What are the things that will continue to be a part of me? What are the things I will no longer do? So it's important for you to do that proper analysis. Then also using the zero base to analyze yourself. I've already mentioned that it helps you to know your earning power. What am I worth per day, per hour, stuff like that. Then in doing the zero based method through thinking will help me to assess my life. Whatever thing that I need to work on in my life, through the zero-based method, I'll be able to face it squarely and ensure that I put things straight. Because if you don't address these things, they are going to come as distractions. They can be sources of setback also. Then chapter 9, we learned about measurement of progress. It says when we systematically set goals for our life, we save ourselves from hours of hard work to reach the same level of success. Can you see? What if you set goals for life, what might take somebody 10-15 years, don't be surprised that you can easily achieve it in a year or two. So goal setting helps you to make use of your thinking power. You want to set goals, you settle down. How best can we do this? You don't just put things in writing and expect the thing to implement itself, but because you have gone through it. One of the challenges I've had, I'm not justifying it, that sort of slowed me down. I started working on my business plan, and I've seen lots and lots of people, when doing their business plan, they contract it out to people. But I refuse to give somebody my business plan to write for me. That this is an industry I'm exposed to, so I want to know. Like, let's say for example, I'm doing business plan for my bakery. It doesn't make sense for me to ask somebody to write for me, and maybe the person will now write that if I'm producing using one bag of flour to produce bread, maybe the person writes that I'm going to get 120 loaves of bread. What size? How many grams? Do I have those details? Then what type of bread? So there are things that you can't just pick. You need to go in details to get what it is about. So when you want to measure your progress, there are things that you may need to practicalize or sit down and write it yourself. At least because you've been able to check a particular one, you can get the right thing you need to get. Then goal setting helps you to use more of your thinking power than an average human being will do. Yes, you think deep, you settle down and think. And you can even, one of the beautiful things about goal setting is the ideas that God will give you, even in the place of trying to put your goals in place, that you can place the hold and say, it was God that gave me this idea. It could be something that nobody has ever practiced before. Then your conscious mind is the head office of your life. We need to know that it's not just our physical self that we are seeing, and it is the subconscious mind that helps to achieve more than we have ever achieved before. It is our subconscious mind, but unfortunately many of us, we just leave our mind. Instead, we don't fill our mind with things that will have long-term effects on our life. All we do is things that don't even matter. They are the things we focus on. So what can we do to ensure that this measuring of our progress, we don't joke with it? We need to introduce what we call forcing system. Forcing systems will help us to discipline ourselves so that we'll be able to avoid procrastinating. With forcing system, we can set deadlines and say by so and so time, I will be able to achieve the things I've set for myself. And also, there are 3 key things that will help our performance, which is our commitment to that thing we are doing. Commitment is the first one. Then the second one is our completion. That thing you decide to do, that you've committed yourself to doing it. You are not just committed to do it, but you set your mind that this thing that I've started, I must complete it. Like me now, let me use myself as an example. I said, by the grace of God, this Evolve Academy I've started, no matter how tough it is, I must complete this course. And I'm not just going to complete it by marking paper. I will complete it, and I will make sure that everything I'm doing, I must apply it to my life. So that, because that's the only way things can change. It's the only way I'll be able to do things differently from the way I used to do it. And the last one is closure. Ensuring that it is perfectly closed. I'm not leaving any gap. I want to satisfy my conscience and say, I did not just all the course required me to do, but I'm doing it with intent. I'm not doing it just to please my mentor so that my name will be marked. I'm doing it to apply it to my life so that I can be a better version of who I was before I started Evolve. And how can I do this? Yes, it's a big goal, but one way to do it is to ensure that I achieve a small part of my big goals that I've set every day. It's like cutting out a little out of it and knowing that, I'm done with this. Oh, I'm done with this. So that's that about chapter 9. And chapter 10 talks about removing roadblocks. What are roadblocks? Our roadblocks are simply fears and doubts that does not exist, that we just conceive in our mind. All these what if, what if not? Do we think about that one? What if not? So it is important to ensure that we don't give any room to doubt and fears. Yes, all the people you see today that are successful, they have made attempts at many things and they failed. You know, the illustration of the man that invented the light bulb was given severally in this book, and was saying he tried over and over again until he was able to achieve. So it is necessary for us never to give up. Instead, even though I failed now, they said failure is like added knowledge, added advantage. All you learn from failure is that, oh, I shouldn't have done it this way, I should have done it this way. That's what failure does to us. And like I said, successful people fail, but what makes the difference about them is that they never gave up. And that is why I'm not going to give up. Then another important thing we also need to do is to unlearn the wrong things we learn by default while growing up. That is also another obstacle. Some people's mind has been short and they believe they cannot exceed a particular place. And simply, that's why you see somebody begin to think that I've gone to primary school, shebi I can read and write, so I'm good. I've gone to secondary school, I have secondary school certificate, I'm fine. I've gone to the university, I've gone to the college, I've gone to the higher institution. No, they said when we stop learning, we start dying. I just want to thank God. I knew I needed additional knowledge, like I said in my earlier videos. But where to start from? I looked at some schools that are online, as in, how will I call it now? Regular schools, higher institution that let me go for a master's. But I said, by the time I started Evolve Academy, I said, thank God I didn't go to excuse me to go and sit down learning conventional education, because it's not going to do anything for me. That's why you see some people, they have 2 doctorate, 2 master's degrees, but their life is still not what it's supposed to be. So it's good to have the proper knowledge you are supposed to have, and to be able to remove whatever roadblock is before you. And the next one talks about becoming an expert in my field. How can I become an expert in my field? First, I need to study myself very well, to know myself, to discover those best things about me and work on it and improve on it. But aside that also, like if you are working under a boss, you need to ask your boss, please, what do you think is my strength? And your boss will tell you. Also, you can also ask this question from your colleagues that they value you and appreciate you, as well as your close relations that will tell you the truth about yourself. So this will help you to focus more on whatever you are doing and do it better. And this will definitely take you to the top of your career. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this session with me.